They thought your kindness was weakness. They thought your patience meant they could walk all over you. But when you showed them the truth, they didn't see it coming. Stay tuned. This one's for the chosen ones. You were not here by accident. This video was created for you. We're talking about a power they never expected. The strength of an earth angel. They thought an angel could never outmatch their schemes, but you showed them just how wrong they were. Let's uncover 5 powerful signs of an earth angel that prove kindness can be more terrifying than cruelty. Before we dive in, comment 77-foot if you've ever shown them the strength behind your light. Let's get into it. The first sign is powerful boundaries. Kindness isn't weakness. They wanted you to believe it was, didn't they? They thought your gentle spirit, your patience, your endless grace were signs that you could be manipulated, controlled, even broken. But they didn't see it coming. They didn't realize that kindness, when rooted in strength, is one of the most terrifying forces in the world. And when you set those boundaries, when you quietly but firmly refused to tolerate their disrespect, you shattered the illusion they built around you. Suddenly, the game changed, and they didn't know how to handle it. Boundaries are not walls. They're not about shutting people out or hardening your heart. They're shields protecting what God has entrusted to you, your peace, your purpose, your calling. Proverbs 4 verse 23 reminds us, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Your heart is the wellspring of your life, and you've learned the hard way that not everyone deserves access to it. Not everyone deserves to drink from the waters of your kindness, especially those who came with poison in their cups. Do you remember the first time you truly said no? Not just a reluctant, hesitant refusal, but a bold, unwavering boundary drawn to protect your peace? Maybe it was in a relationship where they expected you to give and give until there was nothing left for yourself. Or perhaps it was in a work situation where they mistook your humility for permission to exploit your talents. Whatever it was, it wasn't easy, was it? Saying no felt like rebellion at first. But when you saw their reaction, when you realized that your quiet strength unsettled them more than any shouting match ever could, you knew you were onto something powerful. This is what they didn't understand about you. They mistook your kindness for naivety. They thought your ability to forgive meant you'd forget. They thought your willingness to help meant you had no limits. But when you set those boundaries, they realized that kindness paired with discernment is a force they can't manipulate. They realized that an earth angel with boundaries is more terrifying than a devil with schemes. It wasn't just about protecting yourself. It was about honoring the values God placed in you. Your boundaries weren't acts of selfishness. They were acts of obedience. God calls us to guard our hearts because they are the source of life, the wellspring of His purpose within us. By setting boundaries, you were not only protecting yourself, but you were also protecting the work God is doing in you and through you. And let's be honest, they didn't take it well, did they? The moment you started standing up for yourself, the moment you stopped tolerating their manipulation, they reacted with shock, maybe even anger. Some tried to guilt you, using phrases like, "I thought you were supposed to be kind," or "What happened to the old you?" But this isn't about becoming hard or bitter. It's about becoming wise. Your kindness hasn't disappeared. It's become discerning. And that discernment is what terrifies them the most because it means they can no longer exploit your light for their gain. Do you feel that fire in your chest when you think about how far you've come? How you went from doubting yourself to standing firm in your worth? That's God working in you, transforming your pain into power. The boundaries you set now aren't just for you. They're for the person you're becoming, the person God is shaping you to be. They're for the calling you're stepping into, the light you're meant to shine. Think of Jesus, the ultimate example of kindness and strength. He loved fiercely, healed freely, forgave endlessly. But He also set boundaries. When the Pharisees tried to trap Him with their words, He didn't let them. When the money changers defiled the temple, He drove them out. Jesus showed us that kindness is not about being a doormat. It's about standing in truth, even when it makes others uncomfortable. Your boundaries mirror that same divine balance of love and strength. It wasn't easy for you, though, was it? Setting those boundaries required courage, especially when it meant disappointing people you cared about. Maybe it meant walking away from relationships that felt familiar but were ultimately toxic. Maybe it meant enduring the sting of being misunderstood or labeled as cold or selfish, but deep down you knew that God was calling you to something higher, something purer. He was calling you to protect your heart, not because it's weak, but because it's the wellspring of everything He wants to do in your life. And here's the truth they don't want to admit. Your boundaries force them to confront themselves. When you stopped tolerating their behavior, it held up a mirror to their actions. Suddenly, they couldn't hide behind your forgiveness or your patience. They had to face their own shortcomings, their own manipulations, their own darkness. That's why they reacted so strongly, not because you were wrong, but because your strength exposed their weaknesses. You've likely seen the ripple effects of your boundaries. Maybe certain people began to fade from your life, unable to handle the new you. Others may have tried harder to regain your favor, realizing they had underestimated you. And some, though few, might have even respected you more for standing your ground. Whatever their reaction, one thing is clear: you've changed the dynamic. You're no longer playing by their rules, you're living by God's. As you reflect on the power of your boundaries, remember this: they're not just about keeping people out, they're about making space for what truly matters. By setting boundaries, you're creating room for peace, joy, and purpose to flourish in your life. You're aligning yourself with God's will and saying, "I trust you to guide me, protect me, and provide for me." That trust is the ultimate act of faith, and it's what makes you unstoppable. Chosen ones, your boundaries are not the end of your kindness. They're the beginning of your empowerment. They are the evidence that you've stepped into the fullness of who God created you to be. And the world may not always understand your strength, but it will never be able to ignore it. If you've ever shocked them with your refusal to compromise, comment boundaries, let's continue uncovering the signs that make you an earth angel with a power they never saw coming. The journey doesn't stop here. There's so much more to explore, and you are just getting started. Stay with me. The second sign is the ability to see through illusions. Chosen ones, there's something about you that unnerves them. It's not because of what you say or do, but because of what you see. You don't just look at people, you see through them. Their masks, their charming smiles, their carefully crafted words. All of it falls apart under the weight of your discernment. You have an unshakable intuition, a gift that pierces through facades and exposes the truth beneath. They thought they could fool you with manipulation, with empty promises, with half-truths and calculated lies. But your insight left them vulnerable, exposed, and completely off balance. This isn't about judgment or criticism. It's about clarity. It's about knowing the difference between what's real and what's performative, between truth and deception. John 8 verse 32 says it best, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Your gift for seeing the truth doesn't just free you. It has the power to free others, those trapped in webs of deceit and manipulation. But make no mistake, they don't see your clarity as a gift. To them, it's terrifying because it means they can no longer control the narrative. Have you ever felt that shift in the room? The moment someone realizes you're not as easy to fool as they thought, perhaps they started avoiding eye contact, changing the subject, or growing defensive without reason. That's the power of your insight. It doesn't require confrontation or words. Your very presence holds up a mirror to their intentions. They can feel that you see more than they want you to, and it rattles them to their core. They might even call you intense or too serious, not realizing that their discomfort comes from their own inability to hide in your light. This ability to see through illusions often feels more like a burden than a blessing. After all, it's not always easy to know the truth, especially when the truth reveals things you'd rather not see. Maybe you've discovered a friend's hidden jealousy or a loved one's deceit. Maybe you've sensed manipulation in someone you trusted or recognized ulterior motives behind seemingly kind gestures. These revelations can be painful, leaving you wondering why you were given this gift in the first place. But chosen ones, your clarity isn't meant to harm. It's meant to protect. It's God's way of equipping you to navigate a world filled with deception and to guide others toward the freedom that only truth can bring. Think about Jesus during his earthly ministry. He encountered countless people who tried to hide their true intentions. Pharisees who pretended to uphold the law while plotting his demise. crowds who followed him for miracles but not for his message. Yet he saw through them all. In John 2 verses 24 to 25, it says, "But Jesus did not commit himself unto them, because he knew all men, and needed not that any should testify of man. For he knew what was in man." Like Jesus, your ability to see through illusions isn't about mistrusting everyone. It's about recognizing what's real and what's not, so you can act with wisdom and discernment. This clarity can also make you feel isolated at times. When you see through illusions, you often find yourself standing apart from the crowd. While others are swept away by charm, charisma, or surface-level appearances, you remain grounded, seeing the cracks in the foundation that no one else seems to notice. This can make you feel like an outsider, like the only one who truly understands what's going on. But remember, chosen ones, this isolation is not a punishment. It's a sign of your calling. God didn't give you this gift to blend in. He gave it to you to stand out, to be a light in the darkness, a voice of truth in a world full of noise. Your gift for seeing through illusions isn't just about protecting yourself. It's about helping others. Have you ever been in a situation where someone was caught in a toxic relationship, a manipulative friendship, or a deceitful business deal? You could see what they couldn't, and you felt compelled to speak up, to warn them, to guide them toward the truth. Sometimes they listened, and sometimes they didn't, but your clarity planted seeds. Even if they resisted at first, they couldn't ignore the truth forever. Your insight became a lifeline, pulling them out of deception and into freedom. At the same time, this gift requires wisdom and restraint. Not every truth needs to be spoken immediately, and not every illusion needs to be exposed publicly. Sometimes, God calls you to wait, to observe, to pray. Just as Jesus didn't always confront those who opposed him, you must discern when to speak and when to remain silent. This balance is what makes your clarity so powerful. It's not just about seeing the truth, but knowing how to act on it in a way that honors God and his timing. Imagine your discernment as a light in a foggy room. The fog represents the illusions, the lies, the half-truths that cloud people's vision. Your light doesn't clear the fog all at once, but it pierces through it, revealing glimpses of what lies beyond. It's not about blinding others with your insight. It's about guiding them, one step at a time, toward clarity and freedom. And while some will resist, others will be drawn to your light, finding hope and direction in the truth you reveal. This ability to see through illusions also connects to your greater purpose as a chosen one. It's not just a personal gift, it's a tool for advancing God's kingdom. By exposing deception and shining a light on truth, you disrupt the plans of darkness and create space for God's will to be done. Your clarity becomes a weapon in the spiritual battle, a reminder that truth always triumphs over lies. Chosen ones, your ability to see through illusions is both a gift and a responsibility. It's a sign of your calling, a reflection of the light you carry, and a testament to the God who equips you for every challenge. Embrace this gift with humility and courage, knowing that it's not about judgment, it's about freedom. And if you've ever exposed someone's true intentions without saying a word, comment clarity. Let's continue uncovering the signs of your strength and purpose. We've already uncovered 2 signs of an earth angel, and there's so much more to come. The next signs reveal why your presence alone can disrupt chaos and leave manipulators powerless. If this message is hitting home, turn on all notifications so you never miss an upload. The third sign is unshakable inner peace. There's something about your calm presence that unnerves them. Isn't there? You carry an energy that refuses to be rattled, a stillness that remains steady even when the world around you is in chaos. Earth angels possess this rare gift of unshakable inner peace, a peace that doesn't just protect you but transforms the atmosphere wherever you go. While others thrive on drama, feeding off discord and conflict, you remain grounded, steady, and centered in a calmness they can't understand. And that drives them wild. They can't pull you into their games, can't manipulate your emotions, and can't shake the foundation of peace that you carry. Philippians 4 verse 7 captures this beautifully. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. This isn't an ordinary peace. It's divine. It's the kind of peace that defies logic, that stands firm in the face of trials and negativity. And it's not passive. It's a powerful force, one that disrupts chaos and exposes the emptiness of their attempts to control you. Have you noticed how they react to your peace? Maybe it's a coworker who thrives on stirring up conflict, only to find that their tactics fall flat when aimed at you. Or perhaps it's someone in your personal life who used to rely on your emotional reactions to validate their own chaos. When they tried to provoke you, expecting anger or frustration, you met them with calmness instead. And that calmness, it disarmed them. It left them scrambling, unsure of how to proceed because you refused to play their game. Your peace is a weapon, chosen one. It's not loud or aggressive, but it's unyielding. It's the stillness in the storm, the anchor that keeps you rooted when others are swept away. They can't stand it because it reveals something they don't want to face, their own instability. When you remain calm in the midst of their chaos, it forces them to confront the emptiness of their drama. It shows them that their attempts to control or manipulate are powerless against the divine strength within you. But let's be honest, this peace didn't come easily, did it? It's been forged through battles, through seasons of turmoil where you had to learn to let go of control and trust God completely. Maybe there were times when you felt anything but peaceful, when anxiety, fear, or anger threatened to consume you. But each time you turned to God, and He met you in that place. He gave you a peace that wasn't dependent on your circumstances but rooted in His presence. Over time, this peace became your foundation, a part of who you are, unshakable no matter what comes your way. Think of Jesus in the storm with His disciples. While the wind raged and the waves crashed, Jesus slept peacefully in the boat. His disciples, consumed by fear, woke Him, saying, "Master, carest thou not that we perish?" Mark 4 verse 38. But Jesus, with unshakable calm, rose and rebuked the storm, saying, "Peace, be still." His peace wasn't just a reaction to the storm, it was a command over it. And that same peace dwells within you, chosen one. It's a reminder that the storms around you are no match for the presence of God within you. Your unshakable peace is also a reflection of your trust in God. While others panic over uncertainties, you rest in the assurance that He is in control. This doesn't mean you're immune to challenges. It means you've learned where to place your faith. You've chosen to anchor yourself in the promises of God rather than the shifting sands of this world. This trust is what keeps you steady, what allows you to walk through fire without being consumed. But this peace comes with its own challenges. Not everyone will understand it. Some will mistake your calmness for indifference or your lack of reaction for weakness. They'll say things like, "Why don't you care more?" or "You're too calm." It's unsettling, but their discomfort isn't your problem. It's theirs. Your peace shines a light on their need for drama, their reliance on conflict, and their inability to find stability within themselves. Instead of questioning your peace, they should be inspired by it. And some will be. Your presence will draw others towards stillness, teaching them to seek the same peace that anchors you. This inner peace also serves as a guide in your spiritual journey. It helps you discern what aligns with God's will and what doesn't. Have you ever entered a situation and felt your peace disrupted? Maybe it was a relationship, an opportunity, or even a place. That unsettled feeling wasn't random. It was your spirit warning you that something wasn't right. Your peace isn't just a shield. It's a compass, pointing you toward what is good, true, and aligned with God's purpose. Your peace also has a ripple effect, transforming the spaces and people around you. When you remain calm in the face of chaos, it inspires others to do the same. Your steady presence becomes a refuge, a place where others can find solace and clarity. You may not even realize it, but your peace is a testimony to the power of God. It shows others that there is another way, a way that doesn't involve reacting to every provocation or being consumed by negativity. Chosen ones, your unshakable inner peace is a gift, not just to you but to the world. It's a reminder that calmness is far more commanding than chaos, that stillness is stronger than any storm. Embrace this peace, nurture it, and let it guide you in all you do. And if your calm presence has ever disarmed someone trying to create drama, comment peace. As we move forward, let's explore how this peace empowers you to walk away from what no longer serves you. Stay tuned, because the next sign reveals the fearless strength that comes with knowing your worth. The fourth sign is fearlessness in walking away. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when you realize that staying in a situation no longer serves your purpose, your peace, or your growth. That moment demands a decision. Will you hold on out of fear, guilt, or obligation, or will you have the courage to walk away? For Earth Angels, this fearlessness in walking away is one of the most powerful displays of strength. It's not about abandoning people or running from challenges. It's about recognizing when a situation, a relationship, or an environment is hindering your higher calling and having the courage to leave it behind with dignity and grace. They didn't expect it from you, did they? They thought they could keep you tethered, using guilt to manipulate your loyalty or fear to control your actions. They thought they had you where they wanted you, convinced that your compassion meant you would endure anything to avoid causing discomfort. But when you walked away, when you chose your purpose and your peace over their games, it shook them. Suddenly, their control was gone. Their power over you disappeared, and all they were left with was the dust of your absence. Walking away is not an act of weakness. It's an act of profound strength. Matthew 10 verse 14 speaks to this strength. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when ye depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. This verse isn't just a directive. It's a declaration of freedom. It reminds us that not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone will honor your value, and that's okay. You are not obligated to remain in places where you are not respected, heard, or valued. Walking away is a statement of faith in God's plan for your life. A plan that doesn't require you to stay bound to what diminishes you. This fearlessness doesn't mean the decision to leave is easy. In fact, it's often one of the hardest choices you'll ever make. Maybe it was a relationship that felt familiar but had become toxic, a friendship where the loyalty was one-sided, or a job that drained your spirit. The thought of leaving might have filled you with doubt. What if I regret this? What if I'm making a mistake? What if I'm being selfish? But deep down, you knew the truth. Staying would have cost you more than leaving ever could. It would have cost you your peace, your integrity, and your alignment with God's purpose. This is the tension Earth Angels often face. Your compassion, your desire to help, and your natural inclination to see the best in people can make it difficult to walk away. You want to fix things, to heal the brokenness around you, to give people endless chances to change. But staying in situations that harm you isn't love, it's self-destruction. And you've learned that true compassion starts with yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't fulfill your purpose if you're weighed down by toxicity. Think back to a time when you finally said, enough. Maybe it was the moment you realized you were giving more than you were receiving, or when you saw that your presence was enabling someone else's dysfunction rather than helping them grow. Perhaps it was when you understood that staying wasn't just hurting you, it was keeping you from stepping into the life God had for you. That decision to walk away wasn't easy, but it was necessary. And when you did it, you felt a weight lift, didn't you? That was the freedom of obedience, the reward of aligning your actions with God's will. Walking away isn't just about leaving something behind. It's about stepping towards something greater. It's about trusting that God has more for you than what you're leaving behind. Isaiah 43 verses 18 to 19 encourages us. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? Walking away is an act of faith, a declaration that you believe in the new thing God is doing in your life, even if you can't see it yet. But let's not sugarcoat it. Walking away comes with challenges. There's the sting of being misunderstood, the whispers of those who don't see the full picture, the fear of stepping into the unknown. Some may accuse you of being cold, ungrateful, or even selfish. They may try to make you feel guilty, saying things like, I thought you cared, or I never expected this from you. But their words are not your truth. Their opinions do not define your worth. Your strength to walk away is not a betrayal of who you are. It's an affirmation of who God has called you to be. When you walk away, you reclaim your power. You remind yourself and the world that your value isn't determined by your ability to endure mistreatment or sacrifice your well-being for others. You show that your loyalty is first and foremost to God and His purpose for your life. And in doing so, you inspire others to do the same. Your decision to leave toxic situations becomes a testimony, a beacon of hope for those who are still trapped, showing them that it's possible to choose freedom, dignity, and faith over fear. Imagine yourself as a bird breaking free from a cage. For so long, you felt the weight of those bars, the confines of a space that was too small for your wings. But now the door is open. Walking away is your flight. It's your declaration that you were never meant to be caged, that your purpose requires the open sky, that your light needs to shine without limits. Chosen ones, your fearlessness in walking away is a testament to your strength, your clarity, and your unwavering faith in God's plan. It's not about giving up, it's about letting go. Letting go of what no longer serves you, what no longer aligns with your purpose, and what no longer reflects the truth of who you are. And if you've ever walked away from what no longer serves you, comment strength. These signs show just how powerful earth angels are, but the final one ties them all together. It's the ultimate balance between compassion and self-respect, and it's the reason they can never control you. Don't go anywhere. This last sign will blow your mind. The final sign is unconditional love with standards. Earth angels are known for their deep compassion, an ability to love in ways that heal and inspire. But make no mistake, this love is not blind, and it is certainly not naive. It's love with discernment, love with boundaries, love that flows freely but refuses to be taken for granted. Your ability to combine grace with strength is something they never expected. They thought your kindness meant you would endure anything, that your heart was a well they could draw from without ever giving back. But when you set boundaries in the midst of your compassion, you left them speechless. 1 Corinthians 13 verses 4-7 beautifully captures this balance. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking. This is the foundation of the love you embody. It is patient and kind, but it also honors truth. It does not enable harm or selfishness. Your love builds bridges, but it also builds boundaries. Boundaries that protect your peace, your purpose, and your relationship with God. They never saw it coming because they believed love and strength couldn't coexist. You proved them wrong. This kind of love confounds those who seek to exploit it. They thought your forgiveness meant you would forget. They thought your compassion meant you would ignore their intentions. But you love wisely, and that wisdom exposes them. You see their patterns, their manipulations, their attempts to twist your generosity into something they can use for their gain. And yet, you don't retaliate or respond with bitterness. Instead, you hold firm to your standards, offering love only within the framework of respect and mutual care. This balance of grace and self-respect is what makes your love so powerful, and so unsettling to those who don't understand it. Have you ever had someone try to guilt you into lowering your standards? Maybe they said things like, "If you really cared, you'd let this go," or "I thought you were supposed to be forgiving." These attempts to weaponize your kindness are a reflection of their misunderstanding of what true love is. True love is not enabling or sacrificing yourself for the sake of someone else's comfort. True love is holding firm to what is good and refusing to dishonor yourself or others in the name of appeasement. This is what they don't understand. Your love is not a weakness. It is a reflection of God's love, which is both limitless in its compassion and unwavering in its truth. God's love calls us higher, challenges us to grow, and refuses to leave us in our brokenness. Your love does the same. It extends grace, but it also demands accountability. It forgives, but it does not tolerate repeated harm. It is abundant, but it is not free of standards. And that is why it is so powerful. Think of Jesus' love during his earthly ministry. He healed the sick, fed the hungry, forgave sinners, and showed mercy to those who others deemed unworthy. But he also rebuked the Pharisees, drove the money changers out of the temple, and told the rich young ruler to sell all he had if he wanted to follow him. His love was unconditional, but it came with a call to transformation. It was a love that challenged and refined, not one that coddled or enabled. Your love mirrors that same balance, chosen one. It is a love that uplifts but does not compromise. If you've ever balanced love with standards, leaving others baffled by your strength, comment love below. And here's the test. How do you continue to show love without letting others take advantage? We'll explore that deeper in the next video. Chosen ones, being an earth angel is about more than compassion. It's about living with purpose, peace, and authenticity. Let your kindness shine, but never let it be mistaken for weakness. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and comment I'm powerful. Subscribe and turn on all notifications for more videos that empower your journey as one of the chosen ones. They never expected your light to shine this bright. Keep proving them wrong.